Hello. Now you have a laser. You have Lightburn installed. You're probably wondering how to test your laser. Or now you're trying to figure out why you have a molten puddle in the bottom of your laser. To start off here, I'm going to show a couple of pre-made examples. This example here is actually made for K40 Whisper and was cut out on the K40. It tests your linear engraves as well as your cuts. The second style is for the Norton white paint method of tiles. What you do is you spray it with white spray paint, you hit it with a laser, and it gives you this nice image that doesn't wipe away. And this test also shows the reasoning for doing your speeds and feed testing before even trying to do what you're trying to do. On this example, you can see that more power doesn't really mean more better, and speed doesn't really, you know, you don't want to go too slow and you don't want to go too fast. This tile kind of tops out at the optimal speed, or actually, would it be the bottom? It'd be the bottom of the range of what speed you want for this. In this example, I would probably choose 10% at 60 millimeters per second. And the amount of testing that you would have to do to figure that out if you were just trying, blindly slap something together, it would probably take you a little while. And that's the reason why you would want to do a test file like what I'm going to show you here. Now, the laser that I cut this out on was the K40 with the old board. And this one here is a K40 with the cohesion board, so I can actually use it with Lightburn. And the speeds and settings were way different between the two boards, so that's where I really needed to make up my own test files. So next part we should probably do is start up Lightburn and start working on creating our file. Alright, now that we have Lightburn started up here, we now have to figure out what our game plan is for our test file. I think I'm going to do a test file that is a combination of the Norton white paint test tile and that K40 test tile that I showed you earlier. Or the test card, test tile, something like that. The acrylic piece here has 50 millimeters per second etched into it, which I think is a little fast, like even for a CO2 laser. So I'm going to start out at 50 millimeters per second, and then I'm going to go down, as well as the power. I'm just going to do 5 tests for the power. That way we do like maybe we'll go down to 10% on the speed, or 10 millimeters per second on the speed. And then we'll just test 5 different powers here. So start off here. Go over to the left hand side here with the toolbar. We're going to click on this rectangle. Drop down a rectangle. I'm going to go up here with this box unchecked, or I guess unclicked, so you'll have a lock that's unlocked and locked. That width here, we're going to set it to 10 millimeters. We're going to set the height to 2 millimeters. I'm going to go over here, click on the select tool. I'm going to click off of it, select and click and drag to select the item. Then use Control C, Control V, gives us the copy and paste. Like I said, I was going to do 5 of these, so I'm going to do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure they're all the same color. I think it always does. Down at the bottom here, you can choose your colors. So I just chose that one. Now to set the speeds and the power of the overarching layer, we're going to go over to Cuts Layer. We're going to double click on this item. I'm going to choose the name of 50, speed of 50, max power of 100, and then make sure it's in line mode. If you're wanting to do an engrave, you can set it to fill mode. But for this, I'm going to set it to line, because that's what I want to test. Click on OK. Then this is where all the magic happens. we're going to start off with a power of 20. But how do we set that? We set everything to 100. That option is going to be underneath this shape properties. Why is it underneath this? Why is it called shape properties? Why is it not, cut properties or item properties or layer properties? Or yeah, they could have named that better. But underneath here, you're going to have this thing called power scale. We're going to start off with this test file starts off with 20%, so let's do 20%. And then, do we want to do 5%? Yeah, let's do 5%. So 25%. No. No. Yeah, no. Yeah, let's do 10%. Let's turn it into a molten blob in the bottom of my cutter here. So that should be 40, right? Oh, that's gonna be 50. So we go through and set these all 3 different powers. So I went from 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. Now this right here is our base that we're going to work on to do our different speeds. So we're going to do that by selecting this, Control C, Control V, gives us this extra set, and that gives us a copy of what we had. So what we're going to do now is we're going to select it. We're going to choose another layer. Controls that blue layer there, that layer 1. Now we can come into this cuts and layers section again. Double click on this. And since we want to go slower, I'm going to do 40. I'm going to set the name to 40, speed to 40. Make sure it's in line mode and that the power is 100%. Click OK. And we're going to do this a few more times. The same thing there. Now we went down to 40, 30, 100%, mode line. Click OK. And keeping in mind that these are still set to our separate powers. In hindsight, I think that's going to be probably good enough. 20, 100%. Set that to line. Click OK. These are all line. It's going to go from 50 millimeters per second all the way up to 20. I'm going to make sure that that one's got everything checked back on. So output's on. Everything's all good. So we're going to take this and we're going to throw it at the laser. I did say I was going to do 5. I'm going to do 5. Might as well do what I said I was going to do. And you really could optimize this for whatever material you're trying to do. Line. Let's go down to 10. Oop, oop, oop. 10, 10, 100% line. Click OK. Alright. Now I'm going to throw this off to the laser, and then I'm going to show you how to kind of read these files. One of the other things that you can do if you have your engraving speed kind of figured out, at this first step here, you can throw in what these speeds are as text within here. You can make these a little bit bigger so they're a little easier to read, but that is an option that you can do at the beginning steps of this. Alright, now that I have that all taken care of, this is what my laser engraves look like. Now, I'm going to try and bring it in closely. It's going to be kind of hard to show off what it actually looks like. So over here is going to be the 50 millimeters per second, and that over here is going to be the 10 millimeters per second. The 10 millimeters per second was actually physically hotter, and I don't know if we'll be able to show that off. I'm going to pull the camera back. But the 10 millimeters per second and the 20 millimeters per second are kind of melty. So I wouldn't want to go that slow. The 30 actually looks fairly well. So between 30 and 40 millimeters per second is probably where you're going to want to, where I would want to go with this laser with the settings that I have. Now, the next things that you could do, if you want to do a Norton test tile on your K40, you can use the same menus to kind of give yourself a test tile like this. Now, if you're kind of curious, down on the bottom here, I went with 1% increments along the bottom, and then I started off at 60 millimeters per second. So if you're wanting to do a laser Norton tile, I would probably start a little bit slower, maybe 40, 50 millimeters per second, because down on the top end here, it just really didn't really care to do it, and the machine sounded like it was going to come apart when it was going faster than 100 millimeters per second anyways. So any gains that you would have in speed, you're probably not going to have a good quality etch on those speeds. So if you have any questions, you can leave them down below. Otherwise, hopefully this helps someone out, and I hope you have a good day. All right, bye.